Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Okay, so we got a lot of information to go over. So XRP ETFs go off, right? At the same time that they go off, this is preempted by the prices of crypto overall going down. So prices of crypto go down, ETFs go off. ETFs are actually doing pretty good. Institutions are getting in. Here's the problem. The institutional buying, and you can look this up, the institutional buying that has looked strong, has been reported on by professional companies like Sentiment, all right, has been negated by all the selling from who? Regular retail in Wales selling heavily on XRP, right? But it all goes right along with the plan. I told you, it's the same thing happened with Bitcoin. Institutions moved in and took over as retail was selling. Same thing's happening here. So, I mean, it's really not a surprise. And then once they build up that base of the institutions having more than enough XRP in a variety of ways, they have treasuries now, they got ETFs now. You got another one that's happening tomorrow. We're going to get into that. Then that price starts going up again. And it always works this way. The institutions take over. They start driving that price back up because now they're in control. This is about getting into the driver's seat. When they're in the driver's seat, they drive that price up. Next thing you know, retail wants to come back at higher prices. It's like, whoa, what's going on there? But I mean, who's to know if these people that are selling, obviously they're short term, because how could you be long term when it comes to either XRP or Bitcoin or Solana, any of this stuff, and not be bullish given the outlook? I mean, I've even heard experts bullish on Bitcoin now. I've never heard them bullish on, not Bitcoin, XRP. And I've never heard them bullish on XRP, but the entire setup is super bullish. Institutions want XRP. The utility is standing to kick in. The liquidity aspect is needed. The bridge currency aspect is needed. They have custody services. And Ripple has their hands in so many things. Ripple, SBI, Uphold, they have their hands in so many different things. And all of it is run via XRP. That's why they always highlight XRP is at the crux of everything. So the question now is just that, are people being fooled? Are they believing the illusion, biting the bait of this, this proliferation of negative news? Oh, the crypto price is down. That doesn't change anything about the future trajectory. Not at all. Not even a little bit. Matter of fact, things are getting better and better and better. We're learning more and more on how integral XRP and bank coins will be to the system. That ensures that there's a higher likelihood of a mass wave of value coming into the bank coins. That's what you want. That's what you want. All of this little how could I phrase it? But these moments now where it's just about buying and selling, this is going to be a thing of the past very, very soon. I mean, there's no way it's not going to be a thing of the past. As institutions take over, they're going to utilize these things for what they were built to be utilized for. It's as simple as that. They understand what does what. They've been sitting down in countless meetings with Ripple and other companies, Hedera, Circle even, experts in Bitcoin. They understand what these things are for, and that's why they're taking over. They literally need them, while retail doesn't. I guess retail doesn't feel like they need them, so be it, to each his own. Retail is giving up these things. They don't feel that they need them. They feel like they've made enough value off of it, I suppose. I'm just going by what is being reported, okay? Hey, if you see something else, there's nothing I can do about that. I'm going based on what's reported. They're reporting retail selling heavy. Okay. So retail is giving that up, I suppose, for whatever reason. Institutions taking over. They're salivating at this. They need the externalized liquidity pools. They need that bridge currency aspect. They need, and I'm going to jump into the whole governmental aspect, the U.S. government. I'm pretty sure they've sat in multiple meetings with Ripple. They've been lobbied by Ripple. They're well informed. And they included XRP into the digital asset stockpile. That was a nod of approval. They can use the XRPL. I believe they will. XRP, Solana, a few of them are all together. Hedera is working with Ripple. Chainlink is also maybe working with Cardano. Cardano said they want to work with Chainlink. We'll see how that works out. They may bring in that partnership. And Cardano is working with Ripple. You see, it all fits together. Cardano also said they want to be the security layer of everything. So there's that. It all fits together. They need that. Why? Because of RWA, because of management, debt management. The U.S. debt, they accumulated $1 trillion. Look up everything that I'm saying, okay? The U.S. accumulated over $1 trillion in new debt within 2 months. Folks, they're going to use the new financial system to try to rein that in. One last ditch effort to rein that in. I don't think that it can save the system. I don't. I think a new system will arise. And I don't want to get that confused. It's a little confusing. New financial system. Isn't that a new system? Yes, it's an aspect of a new system, but the legacy system was what I'm talking about. I don't think that that's going to exist in the future the way that we see it now. I think that's going to die out 100%. But they will make a last ditch effort. And why would they make a last ditch effort? Because they made so much value off of it. They made a lot of money off of that rigged old system. And 100% is rigged. In my humble opinion, I mean, no disrespect. So if they could save it and continue to squeeze that sponge, they would do it. They can't do it without the new financial system. So now let's go here. Okay. Let me drop this on you here. So it's not just me sharing my thoughts. I'm giving you something substantial. So this article here is titled XRP to start trading on NYSE tomorrow. Bitwise is set to launch its XRP ETF on Thursday, joining such issuers as Franklin Templeton and Canary Capital. So once again, if you look at what Santamin is putting out, the interest and institutional entries into XRP have been looking pretty good. You know, it's always, all these ETFs always start very slowly anyway. But it's looking pretty solid. Like I said, it's just been outweighed. You won't see that in the price action because it's been outweighed by all the selling. The selling's up here and the buying is here, is still strong, but the selling is even stronger. That makes sense. But this is one more little good sprinkle on top of an already awesome cake. So it continues here. Bitwise, the leading cryptocurrency index fund manager, has announced that its XRP I think they left out ETF. That its XRP ETF will start trading on the New York Stock Exchange on Thursday. All right, let's scroll down past the ads. We did look at the ads. So today, doing you a solid. All right. Get your money. By the way, if you like this type of content, take those powerful hands, hit that like button. CEO Hunter Horsley has confirmed that the product will have the much coveted XRP ticker, quote unquote. The ETF will have a management fee of 0.34%, which is waived for the first month on the first $500 million in assets. Bitwise claims that the XRP ledger is interesting because it is one of the longest running blockchains that has been around for roughly 13 years. As of today, XRP remains one of the what? Wait a minute. That's what you want to say? You have the public's ear? That's what you want to say? That's why it's interesting? Stop. Come on, stop. Bitwise, listen, I respect a lot of things you've been saying lately. Just be real with the people. The people don't like the fake anymore. They like the real. You like XRP because they have XRP treasuries. You know what that's going to lead. You like XRP because of interbank payments. You know that's what it was made for. They're in deep with the banks. And if the banks start using that, and they will, they're very interested, in my humble opinion, not financial advice, then you know that price will skyrocket. Not only do you profit outright on that price skyrocketing, but also is going to bring in more business because your clients are going to be so happy that now by word of mouth, you're going to get more business, which equals more value for you. That's why you like XRP. You know, just like I do, that they need that bridge currency aspect of an already established DLT blockchain, a neutral platform like the XRPL. That has global corridors, not something they have to build tomorrow and next year. It's already established, and you know that. You know that. That's why it's interesting. Just be real with the people. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Let's continue. When they do this and they obfuscate like this, I don't like that. Don't try to paint an illusion for me. That's an illusion. Like do you buy that? That's Bitwise claims. This is what, so you have the public's ear and you say this. Bitwise claims that the XRP ledger is interesting because it is one of the longest. But who cares how long it is? If it ran for 2 days or 12 years, what difference does it make? People want to know it's going to bring them value, and you do as well. Let's just cut all the nonsense. In my humble opinion, that's how I feel about it. Don't try to paint some illusory picture. Let's go here. All right. Let me continue on. Bitwise has also noted that XRP is capable of settling payments in mere seconds. Yeah, but once again, settling the payments of whom? Why are you? It's like they want this to be a big secret. That doesn't seem suspicious to you? They never mention the super bullish aspects of XRP. Is the XRPL, and since Ripple's out front, it's well documented how many financial institutions, banks, central banks, commercial banks, as well as non-banking financial institutions, Ripple has brought to the table for the XRPL. That's not including what SBI has done, Uphold has done, Volante Tech has done. We can go on and on. But you don't mention that. Why? You don't have to mention them by name, because I could hear somebody out there right now typing, Mick, but they're a company. They don't need to promote other companies. They don't have to mention their names. Just mention the facts. Lay the facts out for the people since you want to speak on it. If you don't want to lay out the facts, you could always just be quiet. Just be quiet. If you're not, if you don't want to lay out the facts, or let's say you're not educated enough. And I don't think that's the case here. But let's say that they don't know enough, which is ridiculous. They do know enough. But if they didn't know enough, okay, still, you could just be silent on it. Just take your actions, let your actions speak for you, right? All right. That's how I feel about that. Like, would you do that? Yes. Listen, I don't know a whole lot on certain teachings of Pythagoras. So I'm not going out to proclaiming all of these different things about my ideas and divulging my thoughts on Pythagoras. Simple as that. Yeah. I've deliberately not spoken on Pythagoras in a lot of things that I'm doing, right? Outside of this here. And that's and that's important. You're like, Pythagoras, what could you be doing, Mick? What kind of research? You have to understand the different research that's going on right now that affects the entirety of science. Quantum physics, quantum panpsychism, consciousness, and correlation with being possibly some of the top scientists are on this research right now. Some of the top, best in the world, best ever. Consciousness as a fundamental element of existence. So yes, so there's a crossover between science and what scientists are doing, the research that they're doing, some regular researchers, and then also they're bringing in a lot of philosophers as well on this particular research. There's groundbreaking things happening. So that's why, yes. So that's how that connects. And that's why, that's my interest. I'll just leave it at that. That's my interest. Let's keep going. So yes, I do that all the time. I just keep quiet on certain things, certain ideas until I'm more well-informed. All right. So you have that, but then go here, folks. Don't let them get away with this, folks. Hold on. Wait. Let's jump here. So the debt is up to $38 trillion. There was this article. Wait, bear with me. Keep telling us, wait, my apologies. My apologies. A rough week. I'm exhausted, but I'm getting the job done because I want to. All right. I feel fulfilled to get the job done, no matter how tired I may be, no matter how hard it is. I need to get the job done in every possible way on everything today. Not just this video. This is one thing today, a short moment. I need to get it all done so I can feel complete at the end of the day and rest easy, or else I won't be able to sleep. So anyway, long day, bear with me. So this article is titled $38 trillion national debt milestone and the accounting mirage. If you haven't read this, as you're on Yahoo Finance, check this out, please. Even if you stop the video here, that's okay. You can go read the article if you want to, and if you enjoy my commentary, come back and watch the video. And while you're doing that, hit that like button. By the way, don't starve old Alpha Nemo of the like button. Holy smokes. Some people are like, I hit the like button enough this month, Alpha Nemo. I'm not hitting it again. You told me I'm a contrarian. You told me so do something. I'm going to do the opposite. People literally told me that. I can respect it. They told me that. It's like opposites day. No, let me not tell them to not do that. They may act on that as well. Anyway, so this article is about the U.S. debt. Let's have a laugh, people. We got to have a good time while we're here on these ephemeral moments on Earth. The $38 trillion national debt milestone and the accounting mirage. I'll read this little tidbit to you. Then I'm going to expose something. They need DLT for this. A lot of these problems are solved with DLT, or at least they can make a solid attempt before the entirety of that old system burns to the ground. This is the last attempt, and that attempt will skyrocket XRP's price, Chainlink's price, Solana, XLM, anyone that's involved. Just ask yourself who's involved and look at the partnerships, the meetings that they're taking, what they're actually doing. It will tell you a lot. Do your own research. It's the most important phrase you're ever going to hear, whether it's from me or from others in the past or now. That's important. Let's go here. So it says, as the United States gross national debt recently surged past the $38 trillion mark, commentators hastened to ring alarm bells. And surely the figure is eye-popping, but as someone who was elected to the U.S. Congress in 1984 on the very platform of fiscal responsibility, and who was the first practicing CPA ever elected to Congress, who is this and why are they tooting their own horn so loudly? Holy smokes. I want to sound a more fundamental warning. The number may be much less meaningful than meets the eye. We will never truly know what the national debt really is or tackle it effectively. Well, you have to separate. You have to separate all the different governmental things they're heaping on to or pairing with public debt outright. Right? Am I correct? I believe that's how it goes. Let me go here. So I read that little tidbit. I want to jump right into this. We don't have much time today. Bear with me one moment, please. All right. How you doing out there? You doing good? This is how I fill the gap. So I had something here on the separation of, it says here, a $38 trillion debt offers solutions. DLT offers solutions. It could fundamentally improve the financial systems that contribute to the debt's spiraling growth and cost. The key ways DLT could address the fiscal situation described in the article fall into three categories: modernizing debt management. That's another thing with smart contracts. It will ensure that everything they say they're going to do is done. And we will know who has done what, who signed off on what, when it's supposed to be done, and it will be exacted automatically. So isn't that interesting? So smart contracts, modernizing debt management, their utilization for such. Then what David Schwartz was saying yesterday. Isn't that interesting? Let's keep going. It also says enhancing financial efficiency and improving transparency. I told you. This XRP, the XRPL, and all the other bank coins are going to be interwoven so deeply into that system. I think once it's all said and done, if it's not buried, because I do believe that this information, covering this type of information, once everything has popped off, will probably wane greatly when it comes to the masses, not myself. And it could be buried for sure. There's not a lot of massive mainstream platforms that are covering this type of information. But if it's not buried, it'll be mind blowing. People won't believe how deep it went and how high those prices went. But by then, as we see now with massive retail selling, this shows everyone most of retail will be gone. They will be gone. Only a small handful of people will remain that will see those astronomical prices in the future. In my humble opinion, look at the sentiment reports. So it says here, XRPL and similar DLT systems can directly impact the management of the national debt. You think that Brad Garlinghouse didn't tell this to the people in the government when he's meeting with them? I think that he has. You don't leave this type of piece off the chessboard. You play it and you don't leave it in neutral or neutrality. You move this type of piece. This is powerful. Let's keep going. So, impact on national debt management. Recent partnerships on the XRPL are focused on tokenizing U.S. Treasury bills and bonds, By representing government debt as a tokenized real-world asset, DLT enables 24/7 near-instant settlement and greater accessibility for institutional investors. This potentially lowers the cost of borrowing. With everything we've been covering, that's impactful. But let's keep going. Lowers the cost of borrowing and increases liquidity in the secondary market. Increases liquidity, making debt issuances more efficient and attractive. They're going to go for this. I think they already have. It's already in the works. If not, they wouldn't have included XRP in the digital asset stockpile. There are a lot of very good bank coins out there. Legitimate and not even bank coins. There's a lot of very, very good utility coins, but they weren't included. But XRP was. Why? Let's keep going. Streamlined settlement. The XRPL is optimized for clearing and settlement of assets and liabilities. The government could potentially use DLT for the issuance, trading, and maturity redemption of debt instruments, which would replace highly manual, multi-day legacy systems. This can reduce operational costs, and they need to save costs. They've been all in an uproar about saving costs, correct? All right. And counterparty risk, which indirectly makes the government a more efficient borrower. Enhanced financial oversight. So recently, we've seen the last 2 months, it's been exposed a lot of problems going on within the banking system, as well as the non-banking financial institution systems. And there's a lot of overlap. As a matter of fact, from what I have seen and showed to a lot of people on the channel here, the banks are wearing the MBFIs as a mask. And when things go wrong, they're just blaming it on the MBFIs, who really can't fight back because the non-banking financial institutions or shadow banks need to maintain that relationship. So they can't step on the bank's toes right now, even though the banks are pointing at them, blaming everything on them. Either way, what we have gathered is that there are investigations going on right now into corruptions. I'll just leave it. I'll just phrase it that way. Into corruptions that are going on, fraud, etc., within the banking system. This is where transparency, traceability comes in. Who did what? Who signed what? When did this happen? How much went where? Right. They don't want to lose that type of value anymore. They don't need problems. They want easy money. I don't blame them. But it says this: by recording all debt obligations and transfers on a secure shared ledger, the quote true debt figures like debt held by the public are transparent and verifiable in real time. This could eliminate the opacities that create the quote accounting mirage and provide policymakers and the public with a clearer apodictic. My word, that word right there almost ended me, as the youth say. That almost ended me. I was like, what is this word? Yes, I'm learning a lot of new words. That's not one of them. Apodictic. APODICTIC. Somebody's like, I've known that word since I was 2 years old, Mick. I was born with a dictionary in my left hand and a thesaurus in my right hand, Mick. Why does everybody always pump themselves up so high? It's like, so prideful. But it's entertaining. So you have that. So it says enhancing financial efficiency and reducing waste. One of the largest hidden costs that DLT can help reduce is the frictional cost of government and financial operations. Now, I'm not saying XRPL is going to be the only one. No, all of these systems will be conglomerations, as we've seen. We've seen it in what they're trying to do with Swift right now is a conglomeration. They just have a connector piece at the top, and everybody uses their preferred DLT provider to connect to that system. Same thing's happening right now with the Bank of England and what they're trying to set up. Same thing has happened with the Fed. All of these are just conglomerations. They hope people connect to them. And the same thing will happen with the government. So no, I'm not saying the XRPL will be the be all end all, but I do believe it will be a substantial piece of how everything functions. And it definitely is the standard, in my humble opinion. So it continues on here. The XRPL's core strength is its fast, low-cost settlement, implementing a DLT-based system for government payments, such as sending funds to agencies, vendors, or citizens. Maybe this is why Ripple has been stepping up that security right? They said, well, we're going to really, really enhance security. Maybe it's for government, central banks as well, commercial banks, but maybe it's for some governmental activities. Maybe it's for all of them, all of the above. It's definitely something to keep in mind. Also, why they have you have the private ledgers. It could be for, it's definitely for banks, but could also be used for governments, right? All right. Let's continue on. So it says Social Security, which the article notes as a major cost driver. So the reference articles here are Digital One Agency, all right, and BitGet. It says this could replace legacy systems prone to delays and errors. This creates massive operational savings and ensures public funds are used more efficiently. So I just wanted to put that on your table and say, hey, wait a minute. When it comes to national debt, once more, we covered it before, but now we're getting a little bit more into the intricacies of how DLT could be utilized by the government. And I think it definitely will. XRP is on the table for sure. And will skyrocket that value. So I just wanted to put that out there for you. I think this is an important piece to the puzzle. But let's go here to a little bit of Bitcoin news before we close out the video. OK, I know I had a little bit of Bitcoin somewhere. Oh, here we go. A little bit of positive Bitcoin news, because in these time periods where there's this dark shadow over crypto and you know, the mainstream media seems to love that, I think it's important for a few of us to shine a little light, you know, put a little bit of positivity out there. There's a lot of positivity out there. It's just that the negativity gets bigger views, bigger clicks. And so that's when it's time to be negative, that's what's going to be spread around. But I'm not that way. So here we go. A little bit of positive activity for Bitcoin. Representative Warren Davidson. I've never heard of this person before. It says they're from Ohio, introduces the Bitcoin for America Act. This is coming from house.gov. All right. The official website. Today, Warren Davidson introduced the Bitcoin for America Act to allow Americans to pay federal taxes in Bitcoin and direct all such payments into the strategic Bitcoin reserve. All right. So they're getting serious with this Bitcoin reserve thing. They're getting serious with it. This measure will strengthen long-term national financial resilience and position the U.S. at the forefront of global digital asset leadership. Quote, the Bitcoin for America Act marks an important step toward modernizing our financial systems and embracing the innovation that millions of Americans already use every day, unquote, said Representative Warren Davidson. Quote, by allowing taxpayers to pay federal taxes in Bitcoin and having the proceeds placed into the strategic Bitcoin reserve, the nation will benefit by having a tangible asset that appreciates in value over time, unlike the US dollar, which has steadily lost value under inflationary pressures. You are right. You are correct, but you work for the government. I didn't expect you to throw the US dollar under the bus. Oh, these people are wild these days. You're supposed to stand by the US dollar. And I don't know. That's just strange to me. If you're on my team, I expect you to speak positively about my team and our play, our game, everything. He was like, well, what if it's not the truth? Well, you don't have to speak at all. But, you know, we want to build. We're here. Our job is to make this better. Right. If we're on the same team, we're trying to make this better. We don't need to openly fan the flames that are burning our system down. You know what I mean? I mean, just my humble opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I am extremely exhausted, so maybe I'm wrong. You could tell me that. I'll listen to you. I'm gonna listen to them over there or them over there. I'll listen to you. Just me and you. All right. You're special, Fernando. Somebody's like, oh, me, Mick. You're talking to me, Mick. And then they look there. Wait a minute. So, hey, wait a minute. You got more viewers than just me, Mick. Wait, what do you? They have that realization, like, I'm just having a laugh. Let me have a little laugh today. It's been a hard week. This bill will give the American people more choice in paying their taxes, as well as give our government a stronger financial foundation. All right, listen, all I care about is positive for Bitcoin. That's all I'm concerned with. So good. Let Bitcoin weave its way deeper into their system. Let them get more familiar with it. Let more people get more familiar with it. Maybe the people might actually benefit off of Bitcoin, even though a lot of people don't want to get involved with Bitcoin, which is strange to me, in my humble opinion, but to each his own. But the governments and the banks definitely are going to pour their capital into Bitcoin, and that gives Bitcoin a bright future. And I'm looking forward to taking value from them. Thank you to governments and the banks. You'll probably never hear that from me about anything else when it comes to the governments and banks. Thanks, because we're going to take all that capital. We're going to take that bank money. In my humble opinion, both with the bank coins as well as Bitcoin, they're well positioned, in my humble opinion. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.